Well, hey kids, Rio here. Welcome back to the channel. Today is Wednesday, and so today is the next in my series of film reviews. I'm pretty excited about this one, you guys. Today we have a Japanese horror film. I'm very excited about it. It's called Bakemono. Okay, so chances are I have probably mispronounced the name of this movie. But it is, it's a hybrid word. That kind of in general means monster, but it's actually two sort of words put together. Bake, which means transforming or changing, and mano, which means creature. So transforming creature. Okay. So this is neat. I love Asian horror. Japanese horror films have a very different sort of aesthetic sort of view from a lot of your Western style horror films, and I always find that to be very interesting. It kind of makes me wonder if they're okay. So we're following a series of people that are staying in this Airbnb, but they're not there at the same time. Okay, it's one room where different people have been there at different times. Now this can get a little bit confusing because the film is non-linear. It's not a beginning, middle, end type movie. Things seem like they're happening simultaneously. It's cutting back and forth between different stories. So it gets a little bit confusing in that respect, but you have to pay very close attention. If you're paying attention, you figure it out. But it's kind of interesting the way they do it. I'm kind of a fan of non-linear storytelling. I like the idea of you don't know exactly what order things happened in, you just know that they happened. Now, I am not going to even start butchering the names of these actors in this movie. I'm just not. It's a fairly large cast, and from the looks of everything I looked up, for a lot of these people, this is only like maybe one or two movies they've done. So it's a lot of it's a newer cast. So that's always very exciting. I do want to call out one character in particular, though, which is the landlord of this Airbnb. Mitsuo is the character's name. The actor's name is Takashi Eri. He is really, really fascinating. His character is very central. It sits literally at the middle of everything that's happening. So I need to call him out specifically because he's the tie that holds it all together. As would be suggested, as it all takes place in an Airbnb. So obviously the homeowner or landlord would be a very central character to everything that's going on. He is amazing in this. Definitely a standout character for me.
I love 1980s practical effects monster movies. Like Aliens, The Thing, The Fly, The Blob. So it's a dream come true for me to make something like that in Tokyo, Japan.
So the film was written and directed by Doug Roos. Now you might know that name. He was actually also the writer and director on another film called The Sky Has Fallen, which has won many awards at different festivals. This film has also won like a zillion awards at different festivals across the world. There's 8 wins in total for this film alone, including Best Creature Feature, Best Practical Effects, Best Beast, Best Foreign Origin Feature, Best Genre Production. Was also nominated for Best Blood Makeup at the Chicago Horror Film Festival. Which brings me to the special effects. Our writer-director, Doug Roos, he was responsible for those too. I've said before about how, you know, in a lot of independent films you see one name and 8 things. Yes, this is no exception. Doug Roos was the writer and director. He was also the cinematographer. He actually appears in the film as a character. And he's the one responsible for the special effects. Now, as I just stated that it won for special effects and was nominated for Best Blood, all the special effects in this film are practical. There's no CGI, there's no CGI assist, there's no post-viz. Everything that's happening is happening on screen. It's right there in the room, it's real.
There's no CGI. I hate CGI. Actually, just CG blood, CG monsters, CG people, CG animals. Yeah, I hate CGI. It sucks.
This, of course, brings me to my trigger warnings. I would be remiss if I did not give trigger warnings for this film. Not only is some of these practical effects, the blood and gore are just gross, right? There's also some situational things that go on in this film that you should know about before you go into it. My trigger warnings include domestic violence, SA, and of course, the gore. It does not skimp on any of these things, and some of these scenes can be a bit disturbing and probably a bit triggery, depending upon your experiences, so keep that in mind before you watch it. So an interesting thing about this, as I talk about these trigger warnings, is that a lot of this film is addressing real things that have happened in Japan that fall under those categories. A lot of it actually seems to be inspired by a man named Takahiro Shirashi, who is also known as the Japanese Twitter killer. There's exact moments that mirror what this guy truly did. If you look him up, you can find out what he did. But a lot of it reflects on that. There's also references to a popular character in Japan, and I don't want to say his name. You'll see a little censored caption down here that'll tell you what I'm talking about. The character is popular enough that he's had several mangas, 9 live-action movies featuring this character. I believe they stopped printing his mangas sometime in the 90s, but still is a popular character in Japan. So that kind of tells you a lot of what this movie wants to talk about. The movie becomes an indictment of a lot of the seedier elements of living in Japan, and more to the point, Tokyo, because all of it's set in the city of Tokyo. And it's addressing misogyny, and it's addressing patriarchy. It's addressing a lot of the more lurid problems with living in the city of Tokyo. And it's it gets pretty dark, to be honest. But maybe if you've ever lived in Japan for any period of time, maybe some of it you'll be like, oh yeah. You know, if you haven't, it'll seem very shocking. But the truth of the matter is that these things do happen. An interesting aspect, too, of them trying to sort of shed a light on these darker elements of living in the city, is that the casting is very clever. They make a point of kind of giving you a cross-section of people that would be living in the city. And this Airbnb is the centerpiece where these people all come. And that's the reason that you see them all there, because they're all there for different reasons. And score. Let's talk about the score. There kind of isn't one. It's more sound design than it is a musical score. There's musical instruments. You can hear them. But it's not... I don't know. It's hard to explain it. And it comes and goes. It's quiet when it needs to be. It stuns you when it needs to. This is just solid filmmaking. It disturbs you. It grosses you out. It keeps you engaged as you're trying to figure out the story and what exactly is going on here. Yeah. Absolutely.
It was difficult, but I really wanted to make something amazing that people would love. The absolute best movie we could make.
So, rating system. Well, you know, guys, I've said before, I hate to give a perfect score. I always feel like a perfect score sets the bar too high, but quite frankly, this film did everything that it was supposed to do. This film, I did what the director wanted me to do. I was repulsed when I was supposed to be. I was scared when I was supposed to be. I jumped when I was supposed to. And it got me every time. I'm sorry. And a 1 out of 5, I have to give Bakemono a 5. It is an amazing film. It's everything about it is just extraordinary. So as I give it that perfect score, I say again about just being aware that some of the subject matter in this film is pretty dark, and just be prepared because some of this might be very disturbing to watch. Okay, well, I guess that's it for this week. As I said, I can't tell you a whole lot about this one, but stay tuned because I have a couple more new ones coming up over the next few weeks. So, you know, if you want to join me, there's a button over here someplace. You can hit the subscribe button. You'll get the notifications when my reviews go up. And you can see what other films I'm going to be talking about. I got a lot of really good stuff coming up, you guys. So hopefully you'll join me for those. And I guess I will see you next time.